welcome to the mental house with me, your host, Khadija. Okay, um, this little vlog is going to be dedicated to one of our subs who wanted to know um, my opinion about depression. Um, and pretty much is depression and self abandonment the same thing? Well, of course, I'm not a psychiatrist. I am not a doctor. Um, so what I did, I kind of called on. There's a doctor by the name of Margaret Paul, and she writes for Mental Health Matters. And I kind of like wanted to hear her take on the difference or what she felt about depression and self abandonment. So I'm going to share with you what Margaret says about this. And again, this is an article that she wrote uh, in a publication of Mental Health Matters. I don't think she's associated with NAMNI, but it's another good place to go for information regarding mental health. NAMNI, National Alliance of the Mentally Ill. Okay, most feelings of depression is caused by some form of self abandonment. The depression is your inner self's way of letting you know that you are abandoning yourself. Okay? Most people want to believe that their depression is being caused by the past or by other people, by events, but these are not the causes of most depression. There are three levels of self abandonment. Okay? One, self judgment and other lies. The first level of abandonment is the self judgments and the other lies that we tell ourselves. And so below, she sets out with a list of lies or judgments that we may make on ourselves. Number one, I am not lovable. Number two, or I am unworthy of and or undeserving of love. Three, it is my fault that he or she doesn't love me. I am inadequate. I am a failure. I am ugly. I am too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, too dark, too light. You get it, so on and so on. I am selfish when I take care of myself. I am alone and I will always be alone. No one will ever love me, truly. Now, telling yourself these lies and judgments is like telling them to a small child. And just think about how a small child would react if you told him any of those things. No one will ever love you. You're always going to be alone. You're selfish. Think about that if you tell it to a small child. The child would feel very depressed at hearing these statements from you. Likewise, your inner child, which is your feeling of self, um, it feels depressed when you judge yourself and lie to yourself like that. Because that's really basically all those are. They're lies that we tell ourselves, especially when we've been given self-loathing type of download programming from our caregivers. Um, that's why I was saying a lot of people didn't understand how Michael Jackson could be such a powerful entertainer but have such self-loathing feelings about himself. I mean, they all go hand in hand. Mental depression, uh, mental abuse, and not feeling very good about yourself, basically being abused. So you can call it whatever you want to. And I just like to say it like this: for black people, we can't afford to not be at tip top shape when it comes to our emotional and mental health. Because, see, when you get outside, a lot of times society is going to already dog you out because of the nature of racism in this country. So, if you're experiencing depression and self loathing and abandonment and all these uh, good old negative um, narratives from your own place of origin, it's almost like you don't have a chance when you step outside because you're already filled with so much poison, just a body full of poison. Oh, that's another story. So let me just continue with this right here. Um, Ignoring the feelings that you are creating with the self judgment. The second level of self abandonment is ignoring the pain that you are causing just by judging yourself. You might further lie to yourself by telling yourself that your pain is being caused by others, the past, or circumstances, rather by your own self judgment and lies. When you ignore the feelings that you are causing, the message to your inner child is that he or she is not important to you. His or her feelings don't matter. Now, you not only feel the anxiety or depression coming from your lies and self judgment, but you exasperate your painful feelings by ignoring the feelings that you are creating. Wow. Then, number three, and which this is where a lot of us get stuck in, turning to addictions, approval, whether it's sex, substances, processes, shopping, whatever, whatever the cause, I mean, whatever how it shows up. Now you feel intense anxiety, depression, anger, hurt, and so on. And you further abandon yourself by turning to various addictions to numb out the pain and avoid the responsibility of it. Um, since you are doing anything but loving yourself and your inner child always needs love, or at least some way of filling up the inner emptiness and loneliness, your ego wounded self now turns to old, learned, addictive ways of avoiding the pain. You might pull on someone to give you attention or approval. Y'all know how it is going back to an old relationship or an old partner. You might try to get someone to have sex with you or masturbate constantly to internet porn. I mean, you might turn to substances, food, sugar, nicotine, caffeine, cocaine, drugs, alcohol. Um, and those things will probably temporarily alleviate anxiety or depression, but it may also become a physical cause of depression. Or you might turn to processes such as TV, work, or gambling. Turn to any of these addictions pacifies the pain for the moment, which is how they become addictions. But because they are all ways of abandoning yourself, they only lead to one more pain in the long run. Now, you are not only in pain from the self judgments when you ignore your feelings, but now you are in a deeper pain from making others responsible for your feelings and numbing them all out with substances and processes. Mm, think about that. You are stuck in the vicious cycle of self abandonment that feeds upon itself. Wow, wow. Listen to that again. You're caught in a vicious cycle of self abandonment that feeds upon itself. You will not get out of this cycle until you stop abandoning yourself and instead move to a deep desire to learn about loving yourself instead of abandoning yourself. To begin this process, you must begin to love yourself and be willing and having the courage to go to those dark places that hurt you, that you don't want to live again, that you don't want to even see again. You have to be willing. All right. So that's my take on today, and that came from Dr. Margaret Paul again, and what she wants to talk about. And this is for you, special subscriber, who is our family, uh, wanting to know the difference between depression and self abandonment. I hope that answered um, your question, and hopefully that information did you some good. Okay? All right. So if you like what you hear, please, please, please feel free to like and subscribe. Share the video, and we'll see you next time in the mental house. Thank you. Bye bye.